Hello, you beautiful people. They updated everything. So I knew Ableton Live 12.2 was coming out, but this morning I checked the release notes for Ableton Move real quickly, and I was really just waking up. Like, my eyes weren't even open yet, and it said I thought it said June 1st, and I was like, how can they have gone to 1.5 on June 1st? Like, it's not. I'm sure I would have heard about it. Anyways, I came to my Ableton Move. I turned it on, tried to update it, and it wouldn't. It didn't show up as an update. But then when I went to update, you know how usually when you turn it on, if you have the Ableton Move, like it shows up on the screen as soon as you turn it on. This one didn't. I went to check for updates. There was an update. I updated it. Then I went back to bed, and when I came back, I zoomed into it, and it was June 11th, which is today. So yeah. Anyways, they updated Ableton Move to 1.5. They updated Ableton Live to 12.2. They updated the Ableton Push. The standalone, well, like the Push one doesn't really have like firmware updates that way, or it does, but they're sort of automatic. They don't really have a version. But anyways, they updated to Push 2 point something, and then Note. I just checked. Actually, that's why I was a few seconds late. I checked on the iPad. I just started using Ableton Note like in the last few weeks, so I'm still working on that one, but that one got updated to version 1.4. So they updated everything in one day, which is great in one way, but I was hoping to do like the Ableton Live one and then do a separate Ableton Move video or live stream whenever they updated that. They did update it. I'm not going to do live and move in the same one because we'll be here forever, but there are a lot of changes. We'll be here for a while, but yeah, I'll do a separate one for Ableton Move, but there are a bunch of new updates there as well. So we are here for Ableton Live 12.2, and this update we've been waiting for a while. There are so many changes in here. There are the ones that they mentioned specifically, like in their sort of blog posts and everything. But when you look at the release notes, there's a whole lot more than just the summaries. Like, there's a lot of stuff. So we'll go through a whole bunch of these. And yeah, thanks for being here. If you have any questions, you can let me know in the chat, or if you're watching this on the replay, in the comments. I always love reading the stuff you've got. And yeah, so let's go through. I've got a long list, so I'm going to be going back and forth between my list and the release notes and trying out the stuff that is new. So we're going to try some of this stuff in Ableton Live. This really is a first look. I just updated it a few minutes ago, so I haven't touched anything. If you watch my live streams about these updates, you'll know that I don't generally do. I have installed the beta stuff, and I've done like beta stuff separately, but to actually use it, like when I was looking for specific bugs to see if they were fixed or whatever. And but yeah, I generally don't install the beta versions. I usually wait until the release. It just feels like a little bit, I don't know. It feels more like the exciting announcement on that day, when you haven't been trying it out little bits and pieces all along. So anyways, I haven't touched the beta version for this at all. So we're starting from scratch. Let me load up the release notes. Okay, before I even get to these, I'm going to skip to, this is silly, but we're going to skip to the fun stuff, which is these icons. I don't know why. I don't know. I think it's just fun and almost useless, but fun. And I've been looking forward to seeing how these will work. So I'm going to go here. So we have these new icons that we can set for our folders. The thing is, I don't use a lot of folders in here. I don't like having too many choices here. I'd rather work on finding my stuff in here. But so just checking something here. And yeah, so they mentioned that there are a few that we can't change. So let's look through those first so we don't. Okay, so the packs, cloud, push, user library, and current project. I have a feeling these are all together. Packs, cloud, push, yeah, user library. Okay, so these 5 here, we can't change at all. The sound libraries, let's change that one right away. And okay, so these are the ones we have to choose from. I tried scrolling up and down. And it's if you do choose something and you decide you don't want it, you can just go to the default icon here and it just goes back to it. I don't know. For my sound library, I don't want to put a music note because it's a little bit of here. Right? We'll use this one here, which looks like a waveform. That makes sense. And then the reference files, I'm actually, I thought about this when I saw the list of icons at some point. And I think I'm going to use, is there a cassette here? Yeah, the cassette, which is sort of weird, but yeah, it sort of makes sense. Or a record. I don't know. Cassette or record. We'll go with the cassette. And yeah, so MIDI files. There's just got to be something in here that's MIDI-ish. I mean, if we need to, we can do the, I think I saw keyboard here. Oh, there we go. This is sort of the piano roll MIDI files. And that's it for these. I think we can change these as well, but I think we can. Yeah, we can change these, but I'm not going to change these. They put a lot more thought into this than I did. So these are fine. Okay, so like I said, it's not a huge, game change. Actually, you know what? I was saying, just as I was saying that's not a huge like game changing way. I looked at this one here, the sound library, and my eye went automatically to this here little waveform, and it almost felt like I knew automatically what it was. These might be more useful than we think. But anyways, they'll be much more useful for you as well if you've got 50 different places, things listed in your places and stuff. But yeah. So anyways, it's an interesting little change that I had been looking forward to for some reason. Okay, loading time is the next one that I've heard a mention about loading time, and at the very beginning that it loaded a lot more quickly, and I haven't heard anything about it again. So this may not be accurate, and this is going to be completely unscientific, because what I did is a few weeks ago, I did this video. I'm just going to load it up. I did a video where I load up my Ableton Live and to be able to time the before and after. But the problem is I updated a whole bunch of plugins since then. And then this morning I did the update, so I didn't do a new video. Anyways, so this is the loading time. It should be pretty close, but it's not going to be exact because, yeah, there may have been some changes. So like I said, it's completely unscientific. Let's just, I think it starts at about 4 seconds. I think it's about 6 seconds. So that's where I click at 4 seconds. And then by the time it's ready, we're going to let it do a little scan at the bottom. Okay, 14. Okay, so that's still 10 seconds. That seems like a long time. Anyways, I wasn't expecting it to be. Okay, so we've got 10 seconds. Do I do it with my phone or just count the Mississippis? When I was a kid, my mom had did a lot of photography. We had a dark room in the basement. So, and with the dark room, the way it was to develop pictures, you had to put like the paper. You had to, there was the enlarger that would go and like throw light on this fancy paper. And then, so you had to count a certain number of seconds and then count another number of seconds in each. Like there were 3 different trays, like you had to put it in the developer. And then I'm surprised I remember that many of the terms, but yeah, anyways, and there were 2 more. But the thing is, she showed me how to do it, and then I got really used to doing it. So the thing is, I got really pretty accurate. I'll say very accurate, but I never completely tested it to see how close. But at counting the Mississippis, like the seconds, there's a like at the pattern. So anyways, a lot of the time I'll just count it that way. But yeah, let's use the stopwatch to know. So I'm gonna close Ableton Live, I guess, and try the stopwatch. You won't be able to see this, but stopwatch, and I'm going to try doing the same thing, and we're going to go look to see how it is once the scanning's done. So I'm going to hit both of these at the same time. So 2, 3, 4 Mississippi, 5, 7. Oh, well, it's the same. It says 10 seconds and 5,800. So yeah, it's the same. But like I said, I did a lot of new. I updated a bunch of plugins, so it may be quicker, but anyways, it's. Oh, why did I just close this? I don't know. Yeah, it's close enough that it hasn't really changed. Okay, so that was the next thing I wanted to check, and now we're gonna go through. We're finally up to these guys here. So, okay. So the auto filter is the first one. I had a different order in my notes. I like moved stuff around. The auto filter, they made a whole bunch of changes, and the one that I've been most excited about, and you may have heard this on some of my other live streams because I talk about it every time. There's a filter that I just love that's called the DJ filter. And I'm sorry if you heard my explanation about this a few times, but yeah, basically what the DJ filter does is basically, it's not two filters in one, but it's a filter that turns into another filter where you've got like the low pass filter, and then you've got at the middle, it's just nothing's affected, and then you've got the high pass filter at the other end. So it's basically when you're a DJ, you can do these effects where the sound just goes, and then it builds up to the so you're just able to play around with the filter. You can do it, like there are other ways to do it, there are other plugins that do it, whatever, but it's a really nice effect that I like using because you can go to the extremes and you don't have to think about it too much. You don't have to. There's no setup. You just turn it on there and you've got either filter. And it's sort of nice, even if you just use one side, it's just, you don't have to think of what you want to do with the sound. Sometimes you don't know. There are some sounds you'll throw in your track and you don't know if you're going to want, you don't know if you want the low end of it or the high end of it. This just lets you go. At the beginning, apparently in the beta, the middle was just like right in the middle. It wasn't affected. And then it would affect as soon as you moved. And that's the problem with some of these filters is as soon as you move off from 0, then the effect starts to go in. So you have to have it exactly at that exact point to have it not affect the sound. And if you're using it on, I don't know, a bass line or, hi-hats, it won't really matter. But if you're using it on a full track, if you're just a little bit off, it'll affect the sound of the whole track. And then they changed it in a future beta version, and let's just load it here. So if we go to, I'm trying to wrap my head around where stuff is. Okay. This is just the side chain now. Where do we change the filter? Oh, no. Okay, I'm confused here. So we don't have it here. Okay. I'm right-clicking here. This is just the side chain. It shouldn't be in these options here, which is a new option. Boy, when are we? Okay, these are just the oh, this is auto filter legacy. That's why, which is weird because they actually added some of these things on there. So where's the new one then? Auto filter. Should be in here, shouldn't it? They put it in under something else? Oh, maybe they changed the name? No? Okay, so if you guys have used the new one, where is this auto filter now? It won't be under sounds, it won't be under drums, it won't be under instruments. It really should be here. Oh, there, oh. Keeps loading this auto filter legacy. Because I see auto filter legacy here. And then this should be the new one. But it's not. How about if I do auto filter legacy? Yeah, well, it's the same one. That's very weird. So maybe because I have a favorite? I don't think so. Why does it keep loading? Okay, well, that's weird. We won't be able to do the auto filter or what? Okay, let me just check. Yeah, we are on 12.2. Okay, so I would say this is a bug, but I feel like it's something that I'm doing wrong. Okay, maybe we have to. Okay, let's load. Okay, I just loaded a new, like a preset that doesn't say legacy, and it loaded it. So, yeah. Okay, well, we'll go with that. And no, this isn't. I think this is just a filter. Okay, so what is going on? It keeps loading this legacy one. Do they have a way to upgrade it? Sometimes it's like you can upgrade it to the new one. That is so weird. Okay, comb envelope. Okay, this is the filter, the new filter, I believe. And yeah, okay. This is the new filter. I'm not sure why it's not coming up. Okay, so, all right, sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with this. Yeah, it could be a bug because this doesn't feel like it should be loading auto filter legacy. But anyways, we've got the new filter here. And so basically, if we... So, okay, so this here is where these new filter modes are. The DJ, comb, resampling, notch. So if we go to the DJ one, what I was saying here is when you're at 0, see, if you go down, and what it does, it'll do a low-pass filter, but it'll also increase the, you can tell over time, it will, it'll increase the resonance. So it does a few things at the same time. But as you can tell here, like it used to be like right at 0 would be 0 and then it would start moving. But you can tell here, it doesn't really do that much until you get to maybe minus 18. It's doing a little bit before then. But anyways, your signal is going to be pretty normal in the middle. If we take full, we'll just try it on drums. I'm just going to get a random full loop here. Actually, I think it'll work better with some sort of house music type. Okay. Okay, actually this might be a good one to try out. So let's just throw this on here. And then we're gonna have to go back and move. I don't remember where I had put it. There we go. This one here. We're gonna move on to this. So in theory, I don't want to hit the microphone here. So I'm adjusting this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit play. Sorry for your... The only thing is, I actually wish this went a little further, because when I'm DJing, I tend to use this a lot, and I'll go to an extreme where all you've got is the absolute. Maybe there are adjustments to it though, but I like having even more of just the low end, like where it's... Oh, okay, so this here adjusts the resonance, like how much resonance you have going up and down. Oh, here, we can probably... Anyways, so, yeah, it gives us a good idea of what it can do. And like I said, oh yeah, that's what I was trying to show you, is this part here. Even if you're not at 0, not noticing much of a difference if you're not exactly on, especially if you're going with the knob or whatever. You want to make sure that you have it close to 0, but you don't want to have it right on 0. So anyways, okay, so that is the DJ filter. There are a few other ones. Actually, this might be a good sample to try some of these other ones. This comb filter. This does sound a little extreme, but there is a dry wet on here, which there wasn't on the auto filter before. So I'm wondering if... Don't really notice anything. Let's go about half. Yeah, I don't know if I love this one, but okay, so that's the comb. Well, I mean, on this sound, like it'd be useful on a bass or something, but resampling. Resampling it's basically a little bit like Redux. I should be looking at this here because they actually explain them really well. The DJ filter, the high pass and low pass at the same, well, not at the same time, but as you go through. Comb filter, flanging effects, especially modulated. The vowel filter, to sound like a human voice, will go that one next. These aren't in the same order as they are in the filter. The morph filter, 4 different slopes, we'll look at that one after. And the resampling, oh, okay. No, I thought they had a better explanation. But anyways, it's sort of like the Redux. So it makes it sound a little bit like you're in a sampling, like a hardware sampler. So this is with nothing, basically. As we go down, it doesn't sound as good on this. Let's just get, I'm just going to get a, actually, you know what? That sound we had earlier, that was sort of a, yeah, this one will be a good demonstration of it. So, okay, that may be a little extreme. Actually, that sounded really good though. And this is all with no other settings. Like obviously if we have this, we'll want to play around with a few other things on here, and maybe even add some drive. That makes it a little loud, but anyways, it can give you an idea of what you're able to do. And then if we go to extremes, it'll be a really bit crushed, which could be really interesting. I'm wondering if even if we do the dry wet. Gives it a little bit of an interesting feel where you've got, this is without anything, which actually has that movement in the sound anyways, but Yeah, around here at 25%, I gotta remember this because that seems to be, you can tell you've got that sound coming through, but you've got the crush sound. Yeah, I really like this. Yeah, so you've got that crushed sound along with the regular sound, so it almost sounds, I don't know, it gives it an interesting feel. So the notch plus low pass. Let's try this on this original sound here. This does have an interesting sound when you're moving it around, like. Especially when you bring that resonance up here, and you bring the resonance down. Oh, that does sound really nice. I wasn't expecting to use this one. I am not a fan of resonance. Like, we're gonna look at the resonators later on, and I don't like the sound of resonance. I never have. On this, which was my first keyboard, my first synth I ever had, there's a frequency or the cutoff and the resonance, and from that exact point that I turned that up, I started hating the sound of resonance. But honestly, on this, I find that it sounds really nice. I think too, it's because we have it at 24%. I just realized. So I'm wondering what happens if we have this on full. That's a little loud, but anyways, okay, we're able to do some interesting stuff with this one. And we'll go to the vowels, which is to give it a bit of a, oh, I'm sorry about the. Yeah, this won't sound as good on a. Yeah, this isn't the right sound for this. Let's, even just a bass loop. I'm doing these at random. I haven't even looked at what's in this folder besides this one here. But actually, that could work. Yeah, I don't know. Let's try it on lead loop, maybe. We'll try it on lead and see. Actually, I could see this one work. Okay. You can tell it has a little bit of a... Oh, that does sound nice. Okay, I want to hear what the sound is without this, though, because... Okay, sort of... It has a filter built in anyways. Okay, so we're going to take that sound that has a bit of a filter... Oh, I'm going to turn it back up a little. Yeah, that does... it adds to it. Like, okay, so those are these new modes here, these 5 here. And then these filter types have... I think there are some new ones there as well. The filter circuits. They say they've changed. Oh, yeah, there was a way to get to... the original ones. Anyways, you've got 4 of the different circuits here. And let's see if they adjust. They make that much of a difference, but... Oh, yeah, they do make... Yeah, they do make a difference, but anyways, you can play around with those. And okay, so the modulation improvements. Oh yeah, I noticed this here. These that you have basically the shapes of the modulators. I use these a lot, especially on pads. We'll do the same thing. Pad. I want to find a long. There, that's perfect. So. On pads like this, we're gonna get rid of this drive. We're just gonna go to this. We're gonna bring the resonance down. So what I do on pads a lot of the time, if not most of the time. I'll add sidechain, so there's a little bit of a pumping effect, just a little bit, like not 100%, but just a little bit, and not even so. It's not like a pumping effect itself, but it moves a little bit with the beat of your track, and it just helps to have the pad just, I don't know, it just feels like it's sitting there and going side to side. And but I'll use it a lot for stuff like this, where, and then I'll do so I will do it just a tiny bit. Like I'll do the frequency here. But we didn't have this dry wet before, so now I'm able to do it like here if I want, and then bring the dry wet. So you can tell, can't tell that much here. You can tell there, and then you can adjust how much of it you want moving up and down. So if you compare this to just the regular one, it's just notes. So this adds a lot. But anyways, so I tend to use the sine, just a sine wave shape, right? But sometimes I'll use the saw a little bit, but it just goes in and it cuts. So I don't like that as much. But these here are new. I think it was just the 4 before. Actually, the fact that they left the auto filter in here. We'll add this one. We'll just bypass it. And then, yeah, so it had some of these shapes, but it's weird because they say they added a bunch of shapes, but if we compare these, okay, let's see which ones they said they added. A list has been extended to include wander, ramp up, and ramp down. So basically, wander, ramp. So these 3 are the new ones here. And the ramp up I find interesting. I want to see what. So you can tell it adds a little bit to it. I'll do that. But it jumps a little bit. What's this wander? Yeah, wander is almost a random. They didn't have names before, but it feels like at least one of these is gone. But I like this one actually. Even if we'll bring the one. I was expecting it to be a little bit more choppy. Yeah, that does. Because again, this is the sound without it, which is very boring, and this one moves around. And if we want more high end, like we can still do the same thing. When we bring it up here, it should still affect it. Yeah, it's still affecting it, but way more interesting than just this with nothing. So anyways, that's the filter. And the improved signal flow, the clip dry wet. Like this is the biggest improvement here, is this dry wet for the filter, because that lets you do so much more. Okay, so that is the filter itself. The automation and modulation keyboard workflow. So basically what they did here is, if we've got, I'll just go here. I don't have anything loaded in Serum, but if we have actually, I think I just have the default patch. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to do pads and just take a random. Okay, this one actually will be good. So we're going to just record. Oh, we got to get rid of this other one. Okay, so I'm actually going to make this longer. If you guys don't know this, a lot of people don't know. I see so many people like going to this and they're like stretching it to the end or whatever. If you just select your note and you hit legato, it'll go right to right to the end. Okay, of the end of whatever you've selected here as a length. Okay, so this will be perfect. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to take it and drop it in here. So we can, because there are a few automation things that we're going to be wanting to look at this. So if we do some automation here, and actually we have this, oh no, we don't have the filter. Let's go grab the filter that we had. And we'll just add it here. And then, so let's say we want to just automate this frequency knob. Okay. We're going to loop it. So we're not going back. Okay, so let's say we record here. This always confuses me, or, okay. Okay, so we have automation now for this. And so to turn the automation, to go look at your automation, it's this button here. And I think it's A as well, or something. No. But anyway, so if we go here, oops, redo, and then we'll just zoom into this part here. Actually, we'll zoom way in because so now you're able to go, like if we go to this one here, you're able to go, or you're supposed to be able to go with, here, let's just move it. We should be able to move in between. Okay, we may have to look at what what it is that they mention. We should be able to go between these points with the arrows. But anyways, if we have this point here, from what I understand, we can just enter. Huh. Okay. Oh, it just keeps zooming me out, but and then, okay. Okay, let's see what they say here, because that's a little off. The navigation, select the current breakpoint, enter on a breakpoint. So that's what acts really weird. If I go here, oops. If we hit enter, for some reason, it takes me to the beginning. Okay, well, we'll do enter on this one. Yeah, so enter on this one. And no, you can, okay, new keyboard flow. Maybe we have to turn something on here related to the keyboard. It won't be this here. No, that's for the mapping. I feel like we're missing something here. And again, this is a first look. It's definitely not a tutorial. I just loaded this a few minutes ago. But we're learning together. That's what we gotta keep telling ourselves. Because we should be able to go here, select this. Let's see, when we select it, it removes it. So that's why I feel like go here. See, it's weird because I go here. Okay, well, we'll go here. We just hover and then we hit enter and it jumps to another one. I don't get that. But that one we should be able to, yeah, see, we type 1,000 and that one moves. I'm not sure why when we select here. So if there's nothing, it will actually create one there. And then we can do the same thing. We can do 5,000 on this one. And then, so it doesn't jump to the next, yeah. It doesn't jump to the next one when we go left to right. It'll go to the next, basically the next point in the grid line. So in the grid. So yeah, so okay, well, I'm not going to go through these too much, and but move the insert marker along the grid, left and right arrow key. Okay, so if we choose one, so we've got this one, and then we hit enter, we should be able to move it. Yeah, so it's moving. See, it's not there anymore on the left, and we're moving it around. Okay, here, it might be easier to see if there's not too much going on. We'll go over here. So we go here, we hit, oh no, we should be able to hit enter to select it. Okay, we select it. Okay, we hit enter, that created a new one, and then we can move it around, and we can move it up and down with the arrow. So this will take a little bit of practice, but it's sort of nice to be able to do a whole bunch of the stuff with the keyboard. What I really like is a lot of the time I was sitting there and let's say I want 3 instead of 2.72, like if I want, instead of 27, I want 3000. When we go up and down, you can tell it's moving, but as with everything in Ableton Live, if you hit shift while you're pressing, it should be going a little bit more specific, which it doesn't seem to be doing with this. So I spoke too quickly. But anyways, we can get it close to 3. So yeah, this will take a little bit, but you're able to do so much more with the keyboard. So that's a nice little addition there. Select a breakpoint and move the insert. Select a breakpoint and move the insert marker. So Alt or Option. I'm not sure what they mean here. So, oh, okay. I think that's what we were doing. If we add one here and we go select up and down, it's going to where the insert marker is. So I guess if we want to add one here, that's where we do Option and Option and click. Click and then, yeah, I don't know. Okay, we're going to figure this one out later. I usually do these and then I'm like discovering how it works, and then I'll, in a future live stream when we're doing something else, you know, I'll be able to tell you exactly how to do it very quickly. So, okay, change envelopes in the arrangement view. You can cycle through. Yeah, I like this as well. Cycle through automated parameters of all devices on a track through all the parameters of all devices. So if we want to do just the automated one, so let's say we've got this one, and if we do the resonance, let's just, we'll just record for a second here and just change the resonance. So in theory, I think it's when we go here. Oh, what was it that they said? The Option and up and down, up arrow keys. So is it from here? No. Okay, this one we'll have to practice as well. But there's a way to change the envelopes in arrangement view, cycle through. So there's a way to cycle through them by just hitting Option. And then what if we do Shift Option? Yeah, so, okay, that'll be for another day as well. But yeah, you can do that. Okay, bounce tracks to audio. I think this is what everybody was waiting for in any update, and this has been for years and years and years. If you go through the Ableton forums, just go look for old things about bounce and place, which bounce and place is basically the new name for freeze and flatten. But the way it worked, I don't know if you guys remember, you had to freeze it and then flatten it separately. Recently, they added it. I can't remember if it was in maybe version 11. They added the freeze and flatten in one point. So if we want to take this, we want to turn this into an audio track. You click here, and you had to do freeze. And if you don't know the difference between freezing and flattening, like freezing is, if we freeze this, it will basically turn it into audio, but we can't change it anymore, but it's still there. Like it just freezes everything. So it helps you with your GPU or with your CPU if something's really slowing things down, but you can still adjust it. So you can unfreeze. We can go here and I Actually, I was going to do undo, but we can do unfreeze. Once it's flattened, it's turned into audio. So if we do what is bounce track in place now, which is what used to be called freeze and flatten, it basically takes what I just did and it turned this into audio. So this whole track now is, you can tell if we go here. So this is audio now, which is great. You're able to work on it as audio, but it's printed. Like, you can't go and make any changes to the original sound. So the way I tend to do it is I'll do it and then I will duplicate it and then bounce that new, like, freeze and flatten the other track, and then I'll mute the original one so I still have it. Or, once in a while I keep saving different versions of it. But okay. Anyways, that's one way to do it, but there's a new, I'm just going to do all these undos so we can get this back as, I shouldn't have to go that far back. Let's go. Oh yeah. Okay, we went really far back. Yeah, come on. So we're gonna redo a bunch of these. Okay, so this should be where we were. Yeah, so this is where we have it as MIDI and it's not audio anymore. I'm just actually gonna save this real quickly. Just So, okay, so what this new thing is here is if we want to take just this part of a track here. Do we have it? Why can't I listen to it? Okay, let's just do a new one. We're going to do create a new MIDI track. We're going to go and add, actually, we'll just copy Serum from here. And we should be able to do this. So we'll just record. So we've got our note here. If we want to have this, and then we'll add here, we'll just record. And then here, we'll record. Okay. So, and then I want you guys to notice something here. So if we want to take this here and turn this part here into audio, we can go here and bounce to new track. But you notice how slow it was when we did bounce track in place. It always takes a while. And from what I've heard, this is extremely quick. There we go. It's bounced to new. So this is like the best of both worlds, especially for myself, because like I said, I used to do that first part and then duplicate it and do some stuff on here. But now I've got the audio here that I can work with. So we can do whichever adjustments. And if it was a rhythmic type thing, like this works really well. If you have a drum machine or like a drum plugin that has a built-in sequencer, and then you hit stuff on it, you're able to get those variations, and a lot of the time there's a little bit of randomization that you can have in there, and then you're able to just take little bits and pieces, but we still have it here. Like it's still here. Like if we play these, actually hold on, I just put the level back to what it was. So that was the first one. It just plays completely seamlessly, but it's going from MIDI to audio and then back to MIDI, which is what we had. But the thing is with this is if we need to make a change to it and we're like, oh, this note here should have been up here. We do that. We can actually just delete this. Should be able to just hit 0 to reactivate this file, and then we do the same thing again. We do bounce a new track, and then this here is the same thing, but it's got that note moved. So it lets us print to audio, but not non-destructively. So this I'm excited about. So and like I said, it's so fast. Like if we just take this little part here, and there's a shortcut for it. No. Do we have to do the whole thing for it to be? There we go. And then bounce a new track here. Like it's almost instantaneous. So it moved this here. It created a new track for this one. So you have a different track for each one. You can move them together if you need to. But and then that makes it really easy. If we want to take this here and we want to reverse it, you just hit the letter R. Or it should be the letter R. Okay, we'll hit the reverse here. And then, so now we're playing this. It doesn't sound that different as reverse, but anyways, you're able to do that for effects that you need. It's so much quicker on here. So, okay, so bounce track, the browser improvements. They've done a bunch of little things with the filter view, browser content columns, the quick tags. So they've done a whole bunch of stuff in there. The custom icons that we looked at the very beginning, because I was too excited to try it out. Search bar improve, and then they've done little things like they changed the look of little things like these arrows here. I can't remember what they looked like before, but they made a few little improvements like that. And yeah, content filter group now has, okay, so a bunch of little things in the browser to make things easier, but they haven't changed it too much. So whatever you're using, it just stays the same. Okay, so Meld, and this is probably the second thing I'm really excited about is the oscillator in Meld. So we're gonna create a new MIDI track here. We're gonna go get Meld. And it'll be under instruments. And then these shapes here, so you've got your regular shapes like any synth. There's a new one here called Chord. Where is it? I saw it a second ago. Oh, right at the bottom. And it's a different oscillator, but it's basically playing 4 notes, I believe, at the same. It's basically playing 4 oscillators at the same time. So it's a little bit like if you were to take this here and put one oscillator here, and then get another Meld next to it and do 2 other oscillators. So it, builds them all at once. The only thing is, like, the sound that comes out of it will always be a little bit similar because it's that oscillator. It's not like you're able to take the chord oscillator and then change the shapes within it. But it is nice to have. You've got I said shapes as meaning this type of shapes, like the waveforms, the wavetables. But so you've got different sounds here for this. The inversion, so you're able to get it to play a different chord. Like if we were to do, hold on, let's just do the basic shape. And we're gonna change the scale here to something random, E flat minor. So this would be 3. They may be adding this, but if we go to the chord oscillator with 1 note, actually here, if we go to this one, it should be. So I'm able to do this with one key, but I'm able to change the inversion. So you're basically changing where that root note is, or where the notes are compared to the root note. But and then shape, I guess, is giving it a bit of a different feel. Anyways, I was looking for, oh yeah, and so there's that. But then here, and that was my point here, is it's scale aware. So now if we bring it into, there we go. So if we go into E flat minor, that's right. This was just. So if we bring it in here, this is probably major, because if you don't have it scale aware, they were saying it'll just automatically go to major. So if we go to if we take it out of chord mode, and then we should, yeah, it's a different, anyways, we won't worry about that one. But anyways, if we go into chord, so this will bring it into the, oh, we're on major. So I was wondering why it didn't change. So this is bringing it into E flat minor. But yeah, so that's sort of nice to have this adjust to whatever, and then you're able to make your changes. So this will be really nice for organ sounds. I do a lot of deep house, and I like to have the organs just have a sort of staccato little organ sound going through. So I think we'll be able to do some. So we'll be able to do some interesting sounds with this. So. So I have a feeling, I'm hoping they actually add a little bit to this so you can have a little bit more variation to the sound, but yeah, this is basically putting us back. Okay, so anyways, and then I'm wondering what it'll sound like if we have two chords. So we would want this one to be a little bit different. But I'd have to check and see if it causes any phasing or whatever, if it's playing very, very similar notes. But anyways, so that's the chord oscillator in Meld that will be nice to play around with. And the Scrambler LFO1 FX. So LFO, and then should be, so I haven't used this one as much as oh, here we go. Scrambler should be on here. There we go. And yeah, we'd have to modulate this to, well, I guess we could. Anyways, okay, so there's a new, you guys play around with this one. We'll learn about this one later. There'll be another one to practice. The Roar added a few different things, and I used Roar tons at the beginning when it came out, and I had huge plans for it, and I haven't really looked at it that much since. I've been really busy with a bunch of specific projects that that this has been less useful on. So, but anyways, so Roar has this new here, the routing. It's got a delay routing that will help you do. It can be good to do slapback type effects. It's basically doing just a delay, but just a one time, from what I understand. So they do talk about it in here, and yeah. I actually want to do a video specifically about Roar and really like get to learn every little piece in here. So when I do that, I'll make sure I include this. Okay, the resonators, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not a big fan of resonators, but they actually made changes to both of the resonators. So we're gonna just load this one here. And basically, the biggest change is they're scale aware. So if we do this, and even if we change these pitches just relatively, actually we'll leave this one. Yeah, see, if it's not scale aware, I know it's not very loud, but here, we'll try. It sounds horrible. The scale aware actually gives it almost sounds a little bit like a tin pan. the instruments in the Caribbean. I think you can make this sound like a tin pan really easily. Tin pan, whatever, that instrument. And then spectral resonator is the same thing. So let's just load it here. And like I said, I haven't used these very much, so. And then, okay, this one's less noticeable, but I guess we got to, oh, maybe on the chord. Okay, I'm not even going to try with this one, but if you've been using this, it's skill aware now. And then there's also a new, it works with the tuning systems as well, but there's this new mode here with the MIDI where you're able to take MIDI, send MIDI into it. So it's got the regular side chain, but it's got a MIDI side chain basically, and you're able to send MIDI from another track into it and get the resonator to play specific notes. I think that's what it is. And if not, maybe actually that might be this, but what I was thinking of is on Roar. They do have that on Roar where you've got you're able to add the MIDI side chain that can be used to control the pitch of the feedback in the note mode. So, but I feel like this is what this would be here as well. But yeah, don't quote me on that. Okay, so I'm getting through these. The operator has 32 voices now. I don't remember what it was before, maybe 16. So that's useful if you're playing a lot of notes at the same time. And then, so this here, I've been holding back at mentioning it the whole time because I keep seeing that this is different, but I wanted to get to it when we get to it with this. But basically, they've made changes where this here used to, what was it? It had actually, hold on. If we do the filter, oh no, the filter will be adjusted now as well. But anyways, this now that controls only the side chain. So, and then this here, this separate button here, if you notice it on Roar, wow. So we've got a bunch of these. This will control other stuff. So I think they call it the breakout view, the new arrow toggle. So that's this arrow toggle here, which gives you more. You've probably seen this on the Spectrum, where you used to have to, there was, it's only been 3 hours that I'm on the new one. I can't even remember how it was on the old one, but basically you could like expand it, but it was a different, I think it was the triangle was part of that. So anyways, I think it was a triangle on this to go, but so if you want to see, it's not on the right, the right track. Let's just throw it on here so we can see. And then when we bring it back down, it's normal. We had this before. It's just they did it separately so that on here you've got up and down. You don't have that arrow because there's no side chain for the Spectrum. But on a track that has side chain, or on a device that can use side chain, then so this here expands it. This here gives you your side chain setting. So they just made it a little bit simpler. And then this here is interesting as well. You used to have to right click for the menu for this menu here, and now you can just press this, the three little dots. It'll give you that. So just if you prefer clicking than double clicking or right clicking all the time, there you go. You've got your you've got that option. So where were we here? Okay, so that's the toggle for these. The additional device improvements, the sample start and end markers are now preserved. There's a bunch of little things in here. They have a new default preset for the auto filter because, that's something I forgot to mention on the auto filter. If we have it, actually it works out well because on this one here, we should be able to, you see how there's nothing in the background here? I'll just disable this. And I don't know if you remember, but when we had the EQ8, you would have sort of the spectrum, what we see here. I'm gonna go back to this one where there's stuff going on. You'd see it. But on the new auto filter, which like I said at the beginning, I'm not sure if there's a bug in here, but when I load this, it keeps loading the legacy one. How we find it earlier? Was it this comb filtered beat? Yeah. See, on this one, you've got, here, I'll just, so you can tell it's sort of like, oh, we'll go back here. So the same way you had this sort of spectrum analyzer here, you have it here on the filter. So that's sort of nice too if you're going through, especially if you're using, let's say, a low pass and you want to see where there is audio. We didn't have that before. Like you were able to do it if we do it here on the EQ. You're able to see what's going on here, but now you're able to see it right on the auto filter. So that's a huge addition. And if you're using Ableton Move, like I said, we're not going to go through the Ableton Move stuff today, but they do have the auto filter built in there now, which is really nice to have because it was limited. Like the filtering in there, yeah, it was tough to get the right sound. So it'll be nice to have the auto filter and have a whole bunch of the effects. I don't know if they have all of the effects yet for these here, like the DJ mode and all of those. So that's something we'll look at when I do my Move live stream or video. Okay, added a new selection of auto filter presets. The auto filter legacy presets are saved somewhere else. There's a new default preset in Roar that has the envelope hold enabled. So yeah, little things here. They changed a couple of the presets. New Meld presets with the Chord oscillator, which obviously they'll do little new presets for new devices. But okay, so, and these Max for Live, if you're using Max for Live, you may want to go through these as a bunch of little stuff there. And the arrangement view, okay, we went through a few of these, but right-clicking on a track and take lane header. Okay, so they made changes with the comping, the take lanes, and delete unused take lanes, clips that are not audible. Okay, so that's interesting. So if you muted everything on a lane, you can just make it delete all of those if you know you're not going to use any parts of those. So it's a good way to clean up your stuff. I'm not going to go do a whole bunch of comping recording. You guys have to listen to me sing. Group tracks with many nested tracks take up less space in arrangement view. I don't know if we should... I'm wondering if I should load a project I'm working on. For that. Wow, I did more work on stuff than I thought lately. I'm just trying to find one that will work for this. Okay, I think I might be able to use this one. I'm not even sure what we're going to be listening to here, but no, okay, that won't work. Okay, never mind this, but let's go back to what we were just working on. Okay, so anyways, we can deal with the take lanes, session view improvements, follow actions, linked scene, and then, okay, so this is the whole move section. We're going to do that on a separate move video. Third-party control surface, if you're using the launch key, like IMPK mostly. I think those are the APC64, complete control. Okay, well, a bunch of different ones that... okay, and the additional improvements here are on Windows. You can use the GPU renderer to make it quicker, but it's disabled by default. So you can turn that on if you're using Windows and you want to use your GPU to make it, work smoother. Live will use less memory. So It's all sort of little stuff here. I remember there being one that was sort of interesting here. Yeah, you're able to select multiple notes in the MIDI note editor by holding Shift, pressing the mouse button over a selected note, and then dragging the mouse. Okay, yeah, so that'll be, I guess, for another time as well. A whole bunch of bug fixes. Like, you can tell they really worked hard on this one. That's why it took so long. But yeah, these are all the bug fixes, so hopefully it'll work a lot smoother if you're using it. Oh, okay, and that's it. I thought that was another section after this. So, so yeah, so it's 12.2. If you, yeah, if it's a free update, obviously, if you're using Ableton Live 12, it's not necessarily the update that if you've been hesitating and waiting. Oh yeah, the expressive chords that did they even mention that one? Okay, let me look through my list real quickly. The custom icons we did, the loading time we did, the filter, the automation workflow, the speed of the bounce in place, the chord oscillator. Yeah, expressive chords we didn't. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to check. Okay, this is the biggest thing. It was on push. A lot of the time when they do updates for push 2 and 3, they will work on push 1. And I haven't tried this yet, but I wanted to see if the mode, they have a new mode for and so what we'll have to do, I'm surprised I didn't see it in here, but it's true, I didn't go through the push like release notes, but so we'll create a MIDI track, we'll add a drum kit. Still under filter. Just wondering why the drum rack wasn't there. Actually, let me add. Okay, so we've got a drum rack set up, and then usually, I don't know if you guys know this, but on push you can have different velocities. This doesn't seem to be. So when you're programming it in, you're able to do it at different velocities. So there's a 16 velocity mode in here. Oh, okay. It doesn't look like we have it. So I was hoping that it would work on push 1, because if you use Ableton Move, where you've got your drum kit and then you've got a 16 pitch mode, so the pads on the left, I don't know if you can't really see, but the pads on the left will be your pads to play stuff, but these will be 16 different pitches. So the higher you press, like, you're able to play different notes. So you're able to drop an actual note instead of just a drum. Or if you just have like hi-hats and you want them to be moving like pitched up and down, you can use the 16 pads on the right instead of the one pitch that you have on the left. So a lot of the time when they do stuff for 2 and 3, they actually add it so it's available for push 1, but it doesn't look like it is in this case because, yeah. So I've got 64 pad mode, and this is for the length, and then, yeah. And then it's just the velocity. Okay. Wait a second. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was hoping the 16 velocities mode was going to be available on push 1, but it doesn't look like it is. So that was the next thing to check. And then the only thing that's left is this expressive chords. And from what I understand, we have to go under packs and install it. Yeah, one available pack. That should be this one here. And this one I'm actually looking forward to, but there's one feature I'd like to have on it. Okay, we won't do it on here. Where do we have our... Okay, you know what we're going to do is... Okay, we're going to do it on here. We're going to add expressive chords here. So under expressive chords, okay, so we've got some chords built in, but the thing is, this isn't scale aware. So it would be nice if it was, but I guess we could put, I've been wondering about that. If we put a scale device after, and like if you're great with music theory or whatever, you don't need this, but this could be useful for me. Okay, hold on, scale, we should be able to just make it scale aware. Okay, so at least we can. Is that a little too loud, eh? We'll get a nicer sound. I think this might just be, yeah, it's just the initial patch. So let's go and do maybe a piano. I don't really like this. Let's find a nice, yeah, this will be perfect. Smooth. I like this preset. For some reason, it's weird. It's panned to the left. I thought maybe the higher notes would be panned to the right. Sometimes with pianos, it sounds more realistic. But yeah, so we'll have to go. Can we pan on the global? Be just for the filter. Anyways, it doesn't matter for what we need it for. Yeah, so you can tell you might want to throw the scale aware device afterwards because it's hitting stuff that's out of key. But anyways, okay, so you've got the different, and I like this mode here because it's really, I thought of something. Hold on. I wrote some notes because the keyboard view while strumming. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. So there's a strum here. It's sort of interesting because you're able to tell which order it's playing the notes that you're strumming. So this could be useful if you're trying to learn how to program stuff that's a little bit more realistic. You're able to go in here and if we sort of slowly, you're able to get some ideas on how to program your stuff so it sounds a little bit more realistic. So anyways, this is sort of nice to have. And then these are the notes that I'm playing here. And then the thing you can do with this is MIDI. We're going to do a progression so it at least has more. Now, I'm not even sure what this is, but from what I understand, we can, oh, no, actually, that's not what we want to do. Let's get rid of it here. If we throw it in here, and then we do, there's apparently an import button here. Oh, I hadn't, okay, I hadn't noticed that. One of these should import them. Is that one? No. Oh. There we go, import here. So this basically, oh, these may not even be, yeah, these aren't chords, so this isn't gonna help us very, very much. Let's go back to it. Okay, so this is just playing the notes. We need an actual progression. Okay, here we go. That's what we want. So I'll throw this here. I'm not sure how it chooses which one it's going to import. I'm assuming it's the last one. So if we play just this, So these are the chords here, and it's actually playing the chords, and because we threw the scale behind it, actually these are seem to be in the scale anyways, but anyways, so we can do this from whichever one we have. I'm wondering if we can we move these over? No. I was wondering if we were able to remap it so they're all together. But anyways, so you're able to bring in some chord progressions, and I noticed there are some huge packs of chord progressions like that you can download, and I'm not talking about the ones that try to sell you on those ads, but I remember finding some. Anyways, if you're looking for them, let me know, and I'll see if I can track it down. There's somebody on GitHub that has a whole bunch of them, like I think it's thousands of them or whatever, and a lot of public, like it's all public domain stuff. So yeah, I do like the feel of this. And the thing is with a strum is you have to sort of automate it if you don't want the strumming to be always the same, but you might want to throw, I guess we could throw an LFO on here. Let's try it here, just out of curiosity. LFO. I actually looked yesterday on how to do this, because if we throw an LFO on here, I would want it to be not changing randomly. I don't know if it's like, I don't want it to change randomly. I want it to change every time we hit a note, but I think we might be able to on MIDI effects here. Oh no, it should, is it under? Yeah, max for live, there we go. So we'll throw this here. And then if we map this to the strum, but I don't know what it's gonna do because of, actually that sort of works on its own. But actually, no, that does sound, I don't even think we need to do the other thing. There was a way, I think, to make it so okay, so this is changing it very slowly. Let's change the rate quite a bit. It's gonna sound weird. Okay, so this is really, I like how this works because it's basically going, these all sound the same for, oh, okay, I guess because the rate is so fast. It's, yeah, see? So depending on when you hit it, this is interesting. I'm hitting it exactly the same way, but this is what you have to do because otherwise it'll just sound too, everything really steady. Like, yeah, that, I think it'll be really interesting. I'm not sure, hi, Jabronsky. I'm not sure what you mean by the tracks on the left side yet. And I feel like I should remember. But yeah, this device is interesting. So I'm just trying it here, and then if we go with the LFO, yeah, see, this sounds so much more natural when you're switching. Yeah, that's what you have to do with this. I don't think just leaving it on strum will, oh, actually, you know what? I think there is a little bit of a random, yeah, there is a random okay. So is this that we can do? Yeah, so we can randomize it here. So we may. Okay, no, this is for the velocity. Okay, so we can do... Okay, so there is a little bit of variation we can do here. Okay, let's just see. Okay, so this is changing the velocity every time, which is good too. We want to have a little bit of variation there. Yeah, we can change stuff there, but I really like the feel of this. Yeah, I feel it just sounds more natural with this LFO on there, and you can do it a bunch of different ways. But anyways, that will, and even here we can do, instead of the shape, we can do a bit of a random. Oh, I see what you mean. So, so you want this on the left. Yeah, you're right. It's weird. I never even thought of that. Like, I've been using this for, I don't know, almost 20 years. It never even occurred to me. Yeah, I know what you mean. Oh, now that's gonna bug me now, because every time, yeah, that bugs me. You're right. It should be on the left. Yeah, why isn't it? Maybe because they have, like, we're just used to going on the right to load up scenes. Yeah, like you said, yeah, like all other DAWs. If you click on the plus sign next to mod, you can do the variations there too. Oh, this one here. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. A bug in the code. Yeah, it's you're getting tired of it. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I feel like I keep changing the themes to try to make it a little bit different. But I think that's with anything. Like, we get tired of the same look. But then once it changes, then we're like, oh, you know, people start to miss how it was before. But yeah, there might be a couple little bugs because, like I said, opening the auto filter doesn't seem to open it up. So I really like the sound of this. And I keep playing the same two chords, but wow. Okay. Yeah, I like this. So, and I'm glad we can throw the scale behind it so we don't have to worry about which notes it's playing. But yeah. Okay, yeah. And you're right, that does bug me now. This isn't on the left. And it's weird because it could be a toggle. Like, it seems like it wouldn't be a huge project, but you know, yeah, it's you're right. It's one of those things where after a while it just hits you. But yeah, it's weird that I've never noticed that, but okay, I'll get rid of this. But anyways, okay, so that's the last of the devices. I don't think we missed anything in there. Let me just check my notes again. Or the new modes. I'm sad that we don't have the 16 pitch mode on push 1, but though I understand it because it's really old, but you didn't mean to share the irritation. No, it's weird. I've never heard anybody mention that before, and when, like, the second you said it, I'm like, yeah, wait a minute. Like, no, it makes a lot of sense. Like, it really should be, at least as an option. Like, maybe people do, like, I'm trying to figure out if there's any reason where it would be useful to have it on the right, but I really can't think of any. Maybe they'll change it at some point. And it's like buying a car and they're like, oh, by the way, the brake is in the ceiling. You'll get used to it. That's true. And then, like, if they change it, people are going to be complaining, right? Because if they change it, they'll be, well, I was used to it. I was used to having the brake in the ceiling. Now I got to have it under the steering wheel, and they're all mad. But yeah, no, you're right. That's going to bug me now too. But yeah, people suppress it instinctively. Yeah. So, anyways, those are our new devices. So yeah, that's Ableton Live 12.2 that we've been waiting for so long. It really makes it. It makes me mad, even though I understand it, that they did move the same at the same time. Because I wanted to space stuff out, but okay, I'll be doing the move video soon. But the ceiling brake, yeah, it's and then you'd have to figure out where do they put the parking brake. They put all the they'll have to put all the pedals up there, right? But okay, so anyways, thanks for watching. I think that'll do it for the 12.2 update, and I'm gonna play around with this a lot. the expressive chords, I don't know which parts you guys are most excited about. But I think this expressive chords is going to be the really interesting one, and the filter. But I really don't understand why I can't get the auto filter to load the new one. Like, that's so weird. Audio effects. Like, it just loads the legacy one. Is there a setting maybe? Do we have to change the setting to... No, I don't. They wouldn't put that in there. I don't know. I really think this is a bug, but it's a weird bug to have. But and the steering wheel opens the trunk. Yeah, don't give them any ideas to mess something else up. But no, actually, no, I do agree. I'd like to have that on the left. Yeah, it's gonna bug me every time I open it, like I said. But anyways, okay. Well, thanks for being here, and yeah, I appreciate you guys being here while we discover these new things together. And even though it's not perfect, there's some things that take a little bit to figure out, and I feel like I gotta be like rushing to try to to figure out to not be wasting your time. But hopefully you were able to learn a whole bunch of stuff with this, and yeah, hopefully you guys will be here next time. Thanks a lot for dropping by, and yeah, I think the Ableton Move will be the next live streamer video. I got to figure out what I want to do with that, because I really wasn't expecting that update today. So anyways, okay, thanks for watching. See you guys next time. And see you, Jabronsky.